All right. The timer is going, the music is off, which means we're gonna chat at you guys for an hour. So hi, everybody. Welcome. If you've been rolling nat ones on your charisma checks lately, we're here to give you some inspiration. We'll be covering a range of topics today to help you improve your networking skills in the TTRPG world and beyond. Whether you're new to the scene and want to make the most of your first impressions, or a veteran in the space looking to improve your skills, everyone here is ready to share their knowledge and experience so you can level up. So thanks for being here today. I'll go ahead and introduce myself to set the example, and then the rest of y'all can introduce yourselves. My name is Mel Lee, pronouns she, they. I come from the land of the Storyteller Squad. We're an actual play podcast running Monster of the Week. Feel free to check us out in the vendor hall. We got a bunch of cute cryptid-themed goodies for you. And I also run social media for the Storyteller Squad. I like to call myself the social media goblin, because I don't know what I'm doing half the time to be so real. We'll start down over here and let people introduce themselves.
Oh God, me? Okay. Hi guys, my name is Sachiko, or Versachiko across the interwebs. I say I put the V in variety because I don't really know how to stay in just one content lane. My pronouns are she, her, and that's my whole thing.
Hi, nice to meet you all. I'm Cam. I go by Caminator online. My pronouns preferred are they, them. And I am a content creator on the internet. I also do a lot of variety stuff. I'm also a burlesque performer over in Chicago and a filmmaker. Yay!
Hello, my name is Anica Cihla. My pronouns are she, they. I'm the brand director at Hero Forge, which, if you are not familiar, we are a character creator for TTRPGs. And I am also a game designer. So a lot of what I'll have to talk about today will be a little bit of game design stuff, but primarily I want to talk about how you can get sponsorships and kind of figure that out if you are yourself a content creator.
Hi, I'm Justus, he, him. I am currently the director of events and licensing at Norse Foundry. I got one foot out the door because I've already started another job as senior events manager for Beckett Dragon Shield. I've been on the backside of the industry. I'm not a front-facing content creator, but I'm familiar with logistics and freight, and I've been doing this about a decade, so that's what I'm going to focus on today.
Hi everyone, my name is Derek. I'm from Nomnivore Games. I founded that particular company. I wear a lot of different hats, from being a game designer to also a psychotherapist, and adding to that now apparently a professor of game design and psychology too. You can refer to me however you want, including hey you with the face. That works perfectly fine. It's convention. No one's going to remember names anyway. But yeah, we're here to hopefully, right, as a whole cast, teach you all about how to network. And why don't we get right into it?
All right, cool. Let's get started. So, easy enough question. What are some tips for someone just starting out, trying to network and promote themselves or their project for the very first time? And I'll let anyone who wants to jump in on that take it. Go
I'm
for
super
it.
happy to start if no one else wants to.
Yeah, go
Okay,
hot.
cool. So I think it's really important to start as a community member. So so often you'll see people come in hot and not necessarily know maybe the creator or the dev or the publisher that they're trying to network with. So start out in their community, then become friendly. Don't necessarily try to go like, oh my God, we're best friends now, because that's not necessarily the best vibe when it comes to kind of networking. But just become friendly, hang out, be chill, and then eventually optionally become friends, because when you're friends with content creators and you're friends with people that make cool stuff, you just naturally want to hype them up, and then they want to hype you up as well, which is really cool. And then just be authentically excited for other people. Like, It's huge. Share people's Kickstarters, back their Kickstarters, share when they're doing cool stuff, read their books, watch their content, and talk to them about it. Just be authentic and show up. I think that's like 90% of it.
Yeah, and on the emphasis of like being authentic, like you said, hype up other people's projects and stuff like that. Don't kill yourself trying to hype up other people's projects. Like, yeah, you want to support your friends, but if you miss somebody's like post on Blue Sky and you're like, shoot, it's been like a month, like, is it weird for me to repost it now? Like, you can still repost it, honestly, or you can, wait for the next one, whatever. Like, your friends will appreciate whatever support you are able to give them when you have the space and energy for it.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think that the most important thing is having integrity and being kind. I really emphasize you do not need to be best friends with everyone, and you should not try to be. But you do, especially if you want this to be your job, need to be a good coworker. And that means showing up for people, being reliable, communicative, supporting people and their projects early on, and also having a clear idea of what you are trying to do and what your goal in the space is. There's so many different roles and so many different ways to be a content creator and so many different ways to be involved in the gaming industry, and specifically in TTRPGs. So figure out what aspect you like the best, while also leaving room for exploring various opportunities. You don't need to be on an AP to be part of the TTRPG industry.
I mean, I can expand upon that a little bit too, because I started in like the video game area of content. I like streamed on Twitch in college, and it was kind of what I did for a while. And I kind of jumped around trying to find like what worked. And that's fun and exciting. It shouldn't be, but it can be, and it will be stressful at times, because again, if you want this to be a job, you're going to have job stressors, and there's going to be things you have to navigate. But like jumping around, finding what content works for you, finding which spaces within content, whether that's the creators or the content itself, finding what works will help you better network and understand how to have those conversations, and avoiding burnout as well. You don't want to spread yourself too thin. You'll die.
And I think one of the biggest things is being genuine. If you come in hot and you reek of ladder climbing, that comes off immediately, and it turns people off left and right. You won't make inroads if you are constantly pushing, trying to feel like you are getting somewhere else. Don't step on people. It's a very small community, and everything comes back to you. You can burn yourself once. So just being genuine is one of the most important things.
Can I interject there and ask you a follow-up as to like what you mean by reek of ladder climbing? For those who aren't familiar, like obviously you don't have to name names or anything like that, but like what's like an example that gives that energy?
Yeah.
Wait, drop the T. Hold on.
No, I mean,
Point to them if they're there.
I mean,
Sorry.
So if you're coming in, and there are big names in the space, right? There's the Matt Mercer of the world, right? And if everything that you are doing is to meet that person, it comes across very quickly, because people, you make a connection, and then that person connects you with somebody else. And in your internal ladder, you might feel like that's another rung higher. And then immediately never talk to this person that introduced you again. I've seen it time and time again, where you keep grabbing that clout and you move up one more rung, and it's gross. It comes off really, really quick. And to speak to the knowing your plan going in, treat it like a business. That's the biggest thing that I've seen content creators fail at, is they come in, they're still thinking of it as fun, and it should be fun, but if you want to be successful, you have to treat it like a business. You have to answer those emails, you have to have a plan, you have to do those things to make it successful.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that too and say, like, it does matter to have professional response times, things like, making sure you email people back in roughly 2 days, or let them know why that you can't. And this might just be like the psychotherapist side of me speaking up, but that genuineness also feeds back to you guys too in a really important way. Being a nerd is a really cool thing nowadays. It really wasn't when we were growing up. But,
Yeah.
And we're all people trying to make careers out of this, which is kind of cool, right? Or at least thinking about that. And because being a nerd is actually a really, really wide umbrella. Like when you say that, it's like, are you a tabletop gamer? Are you like a video gamer? Or maybe, I don't know, like you just really like anime or something like that, right? That's all very valid. And to make sure that you're always genuine with someone else, just find something you're actually passionate about first to start with. Because again, if it turns into a career for you, right, and it's something you're doing 9 to 5 all the time, that's like your dream, right? Make sure it's something you actually like doing, Yeah.
oh, sorry. Did you
Yeah, I think one other thing that I want to say is, I know we're talking a lot about like being a content creator in the space, but
sure.
also being a creator of art, whether you're making TTRPGs, whether you're making video games. Another big part of it is like, if you're looking not just for collaborating with other content creators, but maybe looking for publishers or looking for other game devs to work with, know what they do and tailor, if you're pitching something to them. This is true for sponsorships, this is true for business partnerships, et cetera, IP collaborations. know what you're offering them. Going back to what you said about like the ladder climbing, and I'm thinking about Matt Mercer now, and I'm like, please, if you're asking for a sponsorship, don't be like, we're gonna be the next Critical Role. We don't need that. We need what you're doing. We do not need the next Dimension 20. We do not need the next Critical Role. Make something really cool and make something that's unique to you. But point being, for the game devs out there, know what you're asking for, put together a beautiful pitch deck, know what you're bringing to the table. That's a huge part of it. Please know what you want and know what you're asking for. Massive.
Yeah. And I think also, to close this out, like, be prepared to vet the people that you're going to approach. Like Anica was saying, look them up, like, know what they do. But then also, don't be surprised if people are essentially gonna vet you back. They're gonna look you up, they're gonna see what you have put out there online currently, whether you're a content creator or you're a publisher or an artist, like just getting started. Like, people are gonna wanna see your portfolio, people are gonna wanna see what kind of content you actually make. And so, you know, you might at first, when you're like trying to introduce yourself to people, you might get like a, okay, yeah, cool, like we'll be in touch. And like that feels kind of like a soft no, but it's not necessarily a soft no. It's like people want to know what you're about first, you know? And so they might need a little extra time to simmer and understand, like, okay, how does this person fit with my business and my brand, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, especially speaking of like making a portfolio, one of the reasons I was able to get a publisher for the game that I'm making now is I just put out a bunch of Lasers and Feelings hacks, which is like a very simple one-page RPG that if you ever want to make tabletop games, it's such a good one to hack because it's very simple, very fun. And I got traction because I made a Lasers and Feelings hack about the TV show Psych, which I'm a big fan of. And it was free. It was one page made in a night, basically, but because I had that portfolio, I was able to kind of gain traction with that. So make stuff, just make stuff.
Just make all the things. Okay, so moving on to later on in the timeline. Let's say, you know, you've been in the game for a while and you're not really seeing the results you were hoping for. What would you say to someone to help motivate them to keep going, or like even about how to pivot or something along those lines?
I can start off.
Go ahead.
TTRPGs have changed a lot in the last 10 years, specifically in the last 5 since 2020.
Oh, that's true.
The industry has exploded, and now it is experiencing a plateau. It is important to look at the industry as a whole if you feel like your career is plateauing. Ask yourself if this is something across the board or if this is something you are doing or experiencing solely. The truth is that actual plays don't have the viewership that they once did because we're not all at home with COVID, you know, working from home altogether anymore. We don't have time necessarily as audience members to invest 4 to 5 hours a week in TV shows or in APs or podcasts. This is not to say that APs are not still popular, they are, but a lot of us as audience members, our values have changed and our time management has changed. In these cases, you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to diversify your skill set, and you might not be having luck as a performer, but you could have luck as a writer. You could have luck as a producer, an editor. There are many, many jobs in the industry. It is worth it to learn almost every job. So when you are working on a project, you know if asking someone else to do something is realistic. Yeah. Also, be honest with yourself. Are you meeting deadlines? Are you being a good coworker?
That's true, yeah.
I mean, on top of that, are you treating yourself well?
Yes.
Like, you can be a good coworker to other people, but if you are burning yourself out, that's doing yourself no favors because you can burn yourself out to the point where you're never going to do this again. And that's sad and not worth it in the end. And on top of that, like, I'm so big on do not focus on the numbers. It doesn't really matter. To some people, it might. I get that. Big numbers are really nice. We like to see them. It is a quantifier for companies and outside perspective. But if numbers mattered, I wouldn't be here. And I am, because numbers really don't matter in the end. It's the connections you make. It's the friendships you make by being genuine, by not being reeking of ladder climbing, just being fully you and being honest with that, and again, being kind to yourself first and foremost, because people can tell when you're starting to burn out and being a little bit of a bummer, and that's not being a good coworker either. So be kind to yourself, I think, is like my biggest thing there. If you're being disappointed in the results you're getting from content, we're in a recession, guys. It sucks. But numbers aren't everything. I have to remind myself that every day. But every single time I do, I feel better about myself, because also at the end of the day, I've made real connections, and that's gonna last longer than my job in the space, and I know that. And that's at least what helps me create even more connections and avoid that burnout, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, on the subject of numbers specifically, like Storyteller Squad, majority of our podcast publishing has been on strictly like audio apps, Spotify, Apple Music, literally any podcaster you can think of, or podcatcher, sorry, wrong term. And then, I found out that you can like sync your RSS feed to YouTube. And that just became like a whole new avenue of engagement with people to get our show out there in a very easy and quick way without having to make like video content for YouTube, aside from like the occasional YouTube short. And it's surprising how many people have joined our cozy little community Discord and said, yeah, I found you guys on YouTube. I was like, are you for real? So my thing essentially is, aside from don't worry about the numbers, but also be ready to look at other avenues that maybe you like thought about, and then we're just like, nah, because maybe that avenue is actually helpful to you. Maybe that actually starts giving you more of the results that you want to see.
I love the term avenue of engagement, because
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about that
Go on.
in a way that's just complaining, because if you're not seeing success, think about like SEO, think about your marketing. You don't get to just make a game or make an actual play and put it out in the world. It sucks that you can't, but you know what you have to be doing? Your short form vertical for your Instagram Reels and your TikToks, and you need to make sure you're posting on Twitter and Blue Sky and Threads, and you have to make sure you're on every single podcast thing. You have to make content about your content, because the more that you put out there, and even just a Substack, are you publishing devlogs? You have to do it. You have to, even if you don't want to be a content creator, if you just want to make art, that's not the world we live in, and it sucks, and I hate it. But at the same time, I give sponsorships based on people's, what content are they making? So that's a big part of it, where you have to diversify how you're engaging, and you have to make content about your content, and that really can help a lot with seeing success, which is a bummer.
Yeah. We do email newsletters now. We're trying to do them monthly, but like I'm the one who majority does them. I'm struggling out here, y'all. Send help. I'm a little graphic designer guy. Okay.
But you're doing so well, and we're so proud of you. It's tiring.
Thank you. I really try.
And it is hard, but to your point, you have to get it in front of people. You can make the best game in the world, but if nobody knows about it, who's going to buy it? And one of the best ways to do it is conventions like this, but conventions are expensive. It is hard to get into some of them. And my recommend on that is find a company that is hiring booth staff. I have several success stories of contractors that I've hired that had their own business. So, a lot of folks will pay for your flight or your room or your badge or something to make that a more affordable avenue for you to just be there. And yes, you have to work the booth, but you have that badge and you have the time after the show, and you can go talk to the show runners. One of my staff, they own their own business. I brought them to C2E2 last year. They were able to talk to the showrunner and convince them to allow them into the show, and this year they exhibited on their own. So using all of the things available to you, and there's a lot of cheaper options for shows. So a show like Origins, you don't have to have a booth. You can go and you can just demo. You can buy a demo table for $200 and spend the whole weekend. It sucks. You're on your feet. You can't just create the thing and let it go. You have to get it in front of people and demonstrate it and show them that is a good thing. But check out some Facebook groups. There's a really good tabletop game jobs run by Ross Thompson. And there's some great Warhammer or 40K, they're always putting jobs on there. If you want to get into the industry and have a job that pays your bills and then hustle on the side.
You do have to move to Nottingham, though.
Or Memphis. They've got a lot of things in Memphis.
Okay, I'm choosing Nottingham.
There's so much hate to Memphis right now.
Yeah. And talking to, even if you don't work with, talk to people at conventions, because a lot of them have been doing it for years and years and years, and you might feel like you're in a slump, right? But it might be because you did your first convention in March, and spring is not anytime after tax returns, before summer vacations, nobody's spending money. So you don't know that. You went to 3 shows and they all felt like a bust to you, but that's because it's always that. Every 4 years when there's an election, we have a slump leading up to November because people are scared. People don't know what's going on. And that's the information that you can get just talking to people. You're not trying to get anything out of them. You're just like, hey, I'm new to the industry. And most people want to talk about that stuff.
Yeah, like I'm learning so much right now as a Canadian. I didn't know that. But kidding aside, like I really want to build on that. And a really good way of thinking about an angle of approach is actually thinking not about what you can get out of it. Avoid that kind of ladder climbing activity, and think about it more about what you can contribute to somebody else. And a great place to start is with charity organizations. Those particular charity organizations, they'll do what they can whenever they can to help, right? From flights to hotels and whatever else. You're getting to do something really cool and meeting so many people. And it's because they are charities, they have access to a lot of really cool people who also believe in those particular causes. We've all been touched by things, either ourselves personally or people around us who've suffered a disability, who've suffered some sort of health emergency and so forth. And it's that type of stuff that brings us together. Yeah.
All right. Oh, sorry, do you have
One
another?
last thing I do want to say about it is just talking about sponsorships again, where if you are not seeing success specifically with sponsors, I'll tell you some of the things that have made me not sponsor people. I know we said numbers don't matter. They shouldn't. They do to a sponsor. So
So aware.
That's slightly different, yeah.
Yet again, it sucks. But come in knowing, hey, this was our performance on our past episodes. For example, again, if you are doing like actual play content, or if you are a content creator that just does, not actual play, but maybe short form, be like, my reels get this many views on average, maybe share some of your highest performing ones. If you have a breakdown demographic of like, hey, most of our listeners live here, this is like the gender breakdown. Come with that knowledge, come with that information, or if you're making something brand new, talk about the people that are involved. Go, hey, this is what they've done previously, this is their reach. So knowing your numbers is really big. Also, if I've said no to a sponsorship, oftentimes I want to say it's never personal. It's almost never personal.
In
But
most cases.
in most cases, maybe you're doing something that a ton of other people are doing. And most importantly, one of the main reasons I say no to a sponsorship is your cast entirely cis white people? Like, don't do that. Guys, it's 2025, come on.
It's not that hard.
There's a lot of stuff to think about, and those are the main reasons why maybe you're not getting sponsorships.
In terms of, sorry, I'm just going to follow up with this question. In terms of being approached for sponsorship and like having those numbers presented to you, are you a big fan of like, I see creators put together sort of these like pitch decks, these like one-page graphics.
Love a pitch
Yeah.
deck. Love a pitch deck.
Yeah.
Give me a pitch
Make it
deck.
cute.
Give me a rate sheet. That's another huge thing. Or give
Yeah.
me the sponsorship menu and do it all at once. Like really be like, here's what I'm offering. Here's who's involved. Here's the angle of the setting we're in or what we're offering that other people aren't offering, and then go. Sponsor one episode, costs this much. Have your product on the table, costs this much. Like, inundate me with information. It's awesome, because then I get to make a decision instead of being like, so what do you want from Hero Forge? I don't understand. It's amazing. I love a good deck. They're
Yeah.
so nice.
Just be detailed as heck.
Please.
Spam all the info.
Yes.
Okay.
What do you want?
Yes.
That's-
Tell me what you want from me, and I will probably give it to you. But whenever creators are like, but what do you have? That I'm like, I have leaving your email on red. Like, stop.
Damn.
This extends to game publishing too. I get approached all the time with people being like, "Oh yeah, you do games with cute dinosaurs. My game has cute dinosaurs." I'm like, "Okay, sure, but like, tell me more, please. I don't know what that means.
Right.
And it's specifically a sell sheet is what you want to be able to prepare. You can look up guides on this online if you're trying to publish games. They're like 1 page long. They tell people what they need to know about that game to make a decision, the base mechanics, the play time, the target age, the demos, all those types of things. And from there, like, you leave your contact info. If they want to call back about it, they will. They'll talk to you about it. But like, always provide people with enough information they can even make a choice about it. Like, they, especially at a convention, like, we're all doing a million things. Somehow we've all found our way here on this table right now to talk. But like, after this, we all have a million responsibilities. Make it easy for us to work with you.
All right, cool. Are there any tools or practices you use to simplify the work or that help you manage the organization demands of being in contact with so many different groups, businesses, and individuals in the space?
I can take this. Rely on your friends in the space is like create a group of people to co-work with. They can keep you responsible and you can keep them responsible. That's the hope, at least. So find a group of people who you can, again, we're all kind of co-workers, but find your specific group of co-workers. And it becomes easier to manage when you don't feel like you're doing it alone. Also, Google Docs, Google Docs, Google Docs, Google Calendar, Google Calendar, Google Calendar.
Some kind of spreadsheet.
Anything but a Post-it note, because that's what I did for a long time. Don't do that. You'll lose that Post-it note, and then you'll lose information. Again, get your core group of friends that you can work with. I personally have a Discord where I just like chill in there most days, and we all just like get our work done, and we talk about the work we're doing. And that's an awesome way to network as well, because you're forging closer relationships
For sure.
with people in the space. And you're getting your work done as well. And they're aware of what you're doing because you're talking about it. And they can be like, hey, did you finish that thing? Or did you send out that email? And you're like, no, I did not. Thank you so much. But again, Google Calendar. Just write it down on anything but a Post-it note. And I think that's like a really good start.
So I have a background as an executive assistant in the finance world. So I'm very, very used to administrative work. I'm very, very used to organizing many, many things at any given time, before content even. Calendars are your best friends. Learn Outlook, learn Google Calendar. Please, dear God,
It doesn't have to be Google Calendar, like any calendar you have.
any calendar you prefer.
Yeah, I'm weird. I use a paper planner because I have to
I
physically
also-
write the thing to remember it.
I
And you can
also
put
have
cute
2 paper
stickers.
planners.
Cute stickers, you can use cute pens. I
Yeah.
could go on.
It's great, but I am also someone who struggles with my memory, so I also have 2 paper planners in addition to my digital calendar. Set up reminders. You can also, fun fact, if you have Outlook as your email, you can hack it so that certain emails go into certain folders automatically to remind you, and you can set it up so if someone emails you, it will alert you separately. Borrow from the corporate world. I know we don't like them, but there's a reason why it works. I understand, but borrow the organizational behavior from them. Please, dear God. But also, it helps when you're organizing multiple people with different time zones to remember when to check in with them and to check in with them at a time when they will be awake, and clearing out specific times of your week to work on certain things. Treat it like a class, treat it like a meeting, and specifically carve out like, hey, I'm gonna do this for an hour on Thursday at this time, and that's all I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna go on my phone and scroll on TikTok. I'm going to email people back.
It's okay if you do, though. I think it's part of the work as a content creator.
You're allowed to doom scroll as a
like,
treat.
right?
It is part of the work,
Right?
but also, please, dear God, respond to your emails.
Yeah, respond to emails. And don't send them out at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Because it might be like 5 p.m. your time. No, it's not.
Yeah.
In the rest of the world.
I
If I get an email past midnight, I'm not looking at it.
Yeah, I kid you not. I have a spreadsheet, or rather, I should say, we have a spreadsheet of contacts, and it's like, this is the time zone that they're in, this is like their Discord handle, and this is the best email to reach them at. Because some people are like, oh yeah, DM me on Discord, and I'm like, okay, but like, it's mostly been more so email contact lately, because we're like, too many hubs of communication, and things are getting lost, you guys. Like, I'm so sorry. We gotta be like old people and just be like email only.
Spreadsheets are your best friend. I
Spreadsheets
love a
are my
spreadsheet.
best friend. Like, if I want to hit someone up for, or if Natalie wants to hit someone up for, like a guest spot, it's usually email, but then if they don't get back in like 3 days, we hit them up on Discord, like, hey, did you see the email? Like, are you busy? You free? Like, spreadsheets with your contacts, and also like what you like keep in touch with them for, like whether it's a business that like maybe we've been collaborating, talking about doing a sponsorship together, or if it's like another creator that we want to feature on the show, just like what they're involved in, or if like, hey, we're gonna be at the same con, do you guys want to do a panel together? Like,
Oh my God, that'd be so cute.
Oh my God. Just like all of those things, or even like someone that we just met at a con. And it's like, oh, here's what we talked about,
Keep those business cards that you
Yeah.
get, and bring business cards.
I take notes on business cards.
Oh yeah, I use business cards as like scratch paper sometimes,
Yeah.
unless it's like a really pretty business card. I'll get good-looking business cards. Nothing will turn me off from like working with someone if they give me like a Comic Sans just white sheet, like this is who I am. I'm like, this is boring, and I'm sorry. It doesn't. Also, put what you do, and
That's a good point. Yeah.
because you're not gonna remember every single conversation you have at a con. So if you hand someone a business card, have it very clear who you are and where they can find you, and specifically what you do, and then it'll be way easier to remember, like, oh yeah, this was this person, because I remember talking about how they are an editor or like a lawyer. Also, if you can get a lawyer, do that.
Oh my God, get a lawyer. Sorry, I'm gonna pass this off to the rest of the team.
I'm appreciating the sort of American Psycho that's happening in the front row. Y'all being like, is this good enough? I have 2 tools for organization. One is I have like 8 whiteboards in my office. I have sort of the
That's so
Charlie Day string board meme going on. So if you're a person that needs physical stuff, being able to do stuff where you can erase, rewrite is amazing. But for me, unfortunately, this isn't helpful. The best tool I have for staying on top of stuff is unmedicated generalized anxiety disorder.
That's so
I
unhealthy,
am waking
but
up
so
at
real.
6:45 in the AM, and I am answering the emails in a panic, and y'all, it works. This is not medical advice.
This is not us saying don't take your meds, to be clear.
So true.
Life hack, be anxious.
So true.
I don't
But it works for me.
Weaponize your neurodivergency, but also take your meds.
Find out what works for you. And if you are,
Talk to your doctor today.
find out what works for you. If you're experiencing any of these symptoms, if you are doing something and you're like, okay, I'm using a spreadsheet, and it turns out you are not getting the job done, that system is not working for you. Find another system.
Yeah.
Try different things. Talk to other people. See what does indeed work for you. One of the simplest tools that I recommend everybody get is a business card holder. Get a little thing. It keeps your business cards crisp. The corners don't get beat up. Yes, absolutely. Put your name on it, and then you get to do. It's a very important interaction. When you hand somebody your card, or you take a card and you just throw it in your pocket, you are not giving them that time that shows that you care. Take that 5 seconds, shake their hand, you look at the card, you see their name, you associate the name with their face, so now you're doing it on multiple points. Shake their hand, you say, very nice to meet you, Justus, thank you so much, and then you put it in the business card holder. I'm a little extra, so I leave with 50 to 75 cards at the end of a con. No shit.
Also, I'm so sorry. Do not just hand out your business card to random people.
Yeah.
Please don't interrupt someone while they're in the middle of the conversation and stick your business card in front of their face.
Oh my God.
Please have a conversation before you hand them.
Get more on that in a second.
Where was it?
You want to finish? what
Business
you're
card
saying?
holder keeps things neat.
Business card
Business
holder
holder,
cards.
yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay. So I leave with 50 to 75 cards. So to the point down there, yes, if you can put as much information on that as possible, I might not remember your face, but if you say, I am so-and-so and I do this, that means when I go home and process it, I know. So I have a card folio. When I get back to the room at night, the cards go in the card folio. I get them home, and I use a simple app. There are 100 apps that you can utilize to scan those business cards and digitize them. It takes, if you do it every time, as long as you don't let it build up and you gotta come back and get it later, then it takes half an hour, and all of that goes into your digital database. There's free ones, there's paid ones, whatever fits within your budget, and then those cards go into a file box. So I have all those things so that if somebody comes up later and they're like, hey, do you know anybody that does X, Y, and Z? I can go through my file or go through my digital and say, yes, here are these 3 people. You can reach out to them. But organizing all of that in a way that works for you, because otherwise you end up with stacks and stacks of business cards. You have no idea who gave them to you. You collect the same business card con after con because you never followed up with that person.
Yeah, and also everybody here, you're nerds, you have card folios. You collect Pokemon cards in it, but just use it for business too. Come on, right? Yeah.
Do you guys single sleeve or double sleeve your
Business cards.
No, I
wear
plastic
triple.
sleeve.
get mine
I
graded,
put mine in
actually, but you do you.
like the hard top.
Oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean? But I don't know. I haven't collected
Top
Pokemon
loaders.
cards.
Some
in
like
years.
tarot cards, actually.
Oh, reading with the business cards? Okay, yeah, all right.
Past, present, future.
I think probably the one tip I'd add is because I run a company focused on neurodiversity and neurodiverse products, we end up hiring a lot of people who are also neurodiverse. They're like, oh, this is a thing I go through, and we really want to make sure we're contributing, but also ADHD. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. And we found a lot of success with Discord, believe it or not through DMs because everyone forgets those, but through creating proper servers because there's so many interesting like bots and accessibility tools you can add to your server to help people. Like if someone forgets things, there's a bot that will specifically remind one of the people I work with every so often, like, please turn this over or we're going to not have product for this convention. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, understood. So yeah, that type of thing can be really useful. And again, if it doesn't work for some people, we've also had some success with things like Asana because Asana, also free, have fun with it. But like every project has subtasks. Subtasks can be assigned to specific people. The specific tasks will then be plotted onto their Google calendars, and now it comes full circle. We got everything going. So, yeah.
That was one more thing. Project management software might seem like something that is for big businesses. Use it for yourself. It is such a powerful tool, and they are free. There's a lot of options. Project management software, even if it's just for one project, it can keep you on track.
I'm such a Notion girly, it's not even funny. Like, I use that for all of my social media planning. It's so good. Like, I put the date that I want to post the thing, when I'm going to actually schedule it because I'm cheap and I use, like, the free tier of a scheduler, and so I have, like, a limited number of posts per month. I'm such a fan of Notion, honestly. Notion, please sponsor me. I'm just kidding. All right.
Make sure you send them a deck. We
I know.
just talked about
I know.
that.
Use those graphic design
Great.
skills.
I
You
know.
got
I'll put
that.
them in, hey,
Sponsor
listen,
menu.
I'll put my degree to work. So let's move on, or kind of back to something that we were talking about a little bit in terms of how we like to be approached. So how do you, as a creator or a producer or just a professional in general in the space, how do you wish to be approached by someone who's looking to network? I know we already heard what not to do. Please don't shove your card in someone's face. That's so weird. Like, but how do you like to be approached?
Well, I really am the weird one because I do like when someone randomly shoves a card in my face with Comic Sans on it. The reason why, though, joking aside, is because that means that they actually know what I do. Everything that we work on is neurodivergent friendly. Dyslexia is a very popular and common one, right? And Comic Sans, believe it or not, for whatever reason, is semi-dyslexic friendly. So at least they're trying in that case. So I'm like, hey, this guy gets it. We have an actual point of conversation, right? So that really helps on my end. Beyond that, like, I don't know, generally be polite. Like, please don't come up to me and be like, hey, I see you're talking to 17 people, but I also need to talk to you right now because, like, again, we're all busy.
One quick question.
Yeah, one quick question, 10 hours later, but yeah. But I don't know, I can say more here, but like this is a pretty broad topic. I'm gonna pass this on, maybe we'll circle back, yeah.
I highly recommend not approaching people through social media. That can be a huge problematic thing, and most people block it. If you want to contact somebody professionally, find their email and send them an email. Conventions are a great place to meet people, but we are also very busy. I encourage you to do your homework beforehand. If there's a company in particular that you'd like to talk to, if you want to approach for a sponsorship and you'd rather do it in person, go down the list of all the exhibitors, all of the vendors that are going to be at a convention, find their email addresses, and reach out to them. You won't... You won't get all of the responses, right? Especially leading up to a con. The earlier out you can do that, the better it is. If you don't get that done, don't approach a booth during peak hours when they're 3 deep around and you're like, hey, is there anyone here that I can talk to about my product? That is not the time to do it. Find downtimes. If you can get a hold of an exhibitor badge, or if you make that meeting beforehand, you can come into the hall early. Plan that time out ahead. It demonstrates that you are a professional, that you are respecting their time, and you get more one-on-one, and you will get a stronger reaction to that.
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to add on to what Justus said just now. In terms of like introducing yourself at cons and stuff like that, like definitely make it a pleasant experience. And even if you email like prior to the con or something like that, send a follow-up email. You know, we are all busy people. We all are forgetful sometimes. So, you know, if you got FaceTime at a con, follow up and say, hey, my name is so-and-so. I stopped by your booth on such and such day. It was really nice to meet you. I would love to talk in the future about X, Y, Z.
Yeah, so what I was going to say, there's 2 bits. One is a specific hack for PAX we'll get into, but when you're meeting someone, just also know you don't have to make the pitch literally in the first second. Like, it could just be like a hi, get to know someone, and like if you're going to several shows in a row, you see them on the exhibitor list repeatedly, you can like graduate up to that pitch once they already know you and are, you know, at least acquainted with you. The other thing about specifically that exhibitor badge is we exhibitors also get access to a really cool list called the content creator list, a media list, so we know every single person that's coming here who is doing content. And if you guys are working for a booth, you could also request for that information. Depends on the exhibitor, they might release it to you, but like that could be another way to get access to things that aren't just the people on the show floor, just for yourselves.
I mean, I've kind of already answered this, but
Yeah.
when you're approaching for a sponsorship, especially if it's an in-person thing, please make it clear what you're doing. I'm not always great at reading social cues, and if you're like coming up all friendly and then you're like, psych, give me money, that's weird. Like, you can cold open with give me money, and like that's 50-50, but make your intentions clear. And that does feel a little counter to what we said earlier about like when you're networking, don't do that. But there, you know, it's nuanced. When
There's
you
a
want
time and a
money,
place.
just let me know.
Yeah. Any thoughts on this end?
Yeah.
Go on.
I would say similarly, like just cold calling and being like, hey, I want to work with you, with no actual plan on any kind of project that you feel would work well with this particular company or particular person, you're probably not going to get a response. Me personally, if someone comes up to me and just says, hey, I want to work with you, and doesn't already have an idea in mind, a post that they want to do together, a video that they want to do together, something they want to make together, I immediately don't take them as seriously, because we talk about the ideas of, yeah, I'd love to work with this person one day all the time,
Yeah.
without actually having an idea in mind or a project in place. If you can go to a company, similarly to the pitch deck, but if you can go to a company and say, hey, I love your products, I have an idea for this particular video that I would like to make with your products. I'm going to pitch that to you. I think that would be interesting. Not when they are busy at a con, but if you email them with this, that is 9 times out of 10 going to get a better response than just saying, hey, it would be cool if you would give me free stuff, you know?
For free. I don't want to do any of the work. I mean, to build off of that, more so from like a creator to creator interaction of like how you would like to be approached. It works well for like companies too. Be kind and be enthusiastic in who you're speaking to, because the most success I've had in like working with companies is when I am very clearly into what they're making and into what they are providing. Like the amount of things that I have gotten and had and the work I've gotten in this space is because I am genuinely interested and excited about what they are offering and what I can offer them. So just genuine excitement. Don't do something you clearly don't want to do. We can read that a mile away. If I can tell you're not excited to work with me, I do not want to work with you. And it goes both ways.
Yeah.
So.
And I will add to that point, I know this was about, like, how do you want to be approached, but in terms of, like, approaching other people, like, we're talking about, know the brand that you're approaching, but also present yourself in a way and be honest about who you are. A thing that really gets my goat is that like sometimes people come up to our booth and they want to collaborate with us. This has happened about 3 times. We're not about Gen AI on the Storyteller Squad. Half of us are artists and visual arts people. We're not about that life. And we've had like 3 or 4 people approach us being like, here's our Gen AI product. No, thank you. And like in some cases, they try to be sneaky about it. Like they don't tell you up front, and then we like go to their booth to like check out their stuff, and it's like plain written in text, Gen AI, blah, blah, blah. No, we don't want to do anything with you. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm not interested. It's kind of an insult to me personally. It's an insult to like 2 of my other castmates. Not about that life. So be honest about who you are and expect others to be honest with you back, for sure. Any other thoughts on this question? Or, all right. This industry, like all communities, deals with our fair shares of issues, drama, interpersonal conflict, however you want to phrase it. What is some advice for someone new to the arena of professional TTRPG circles when it comes to navigating the discourse and staying positive when things seem grim, or just, figuring out how you're going to navigate through those situations?
I'm about to say something messy. Shut up. Just shut up. It's okay to stay in your own lane. Get information before acting first. This space is messy. We all talk. We all know. We don't have to keep talking about things. We can move on. We can shut up. Sorry if that's a bit crass. I'm tired. So tired. Just shut up. It's okay to not have to vocalize your opinion on any piece of drama that comes out, especially if you're not super involved. And even if you are involved, maybe people don't need to know. And you could just, again, shut up.
Yeah.
I'm begging. Sorry, I'm tired, but it's real. This is also still a working environment. We don't really have HR. The HR is the court of public opinion. So because of that, shut up.
I cannot agree with you more. Put your phone away. Dear God, get off of Twitter. Get off of Blue Sky.
Touch grass.
Get
Touch
off.
grass?
Touch grass.
Unfortunately, touch grass can be good advice.
On a real note too, take advantage of drafts. Get a journal.
Yes. Oh my God.
You should not
Therapy?
voice your opinion publicly on 99% of the drama that goes on online. It's not a good look. Just don't do it. Also, a very literal trick that I use: be friends with people who are chronically offline. If you talk to them about whatever is going on and they don't care, don't talk about it online. On a very real note, please, dear God, have friends who have nothing to do with this. Have
literally
people
me with
who
my
you
husband.
care. That's me with my sister and my partner. Both of them are chronically offline.
Yeah.
If I ever talk to them about something and they're like, this just seems a little stupid,
I love telling my
I
partner.
know to shut up.
I love being like, so this is the drama, and he just holds my head in his hands, and he's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I tell my
Neither
grandma.
should you.
So good.
What? Like literally.
you.
If
why
you-
does
If you
this
don't have
matter?
a person, just get a vice grip to kind of hang onto your head and do it. It works equally as well.
On a real note, though, if you want this to be your job, treat it like a workplace. Dear God, please.
Yeah.
If you want to be taken seriously, take yourself seriously. Would you act this way if your bills were reliant on this? No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
You can burn as
Separate it.
many bridges as you want when you have like a safety net or
Yeah.
like a day job. But if you don't and you get canceled, that's your income gone.
Yep.
So please just shut up and touch grass. It's like literally like my
Be
only
friends with
advice.
people who have nothing
Yeah.
to do with this.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely.
Yeah.
Tattoo it on your wrist. Am I being a dick? No.
Yes, no.
Okay. Yes. Stop being a dick. And if you treat it like a workplace, then you're gonna be fine. Be genuine, be honest, and just don't be a shithead. That comes back, like genuinely. This community is so small. Let's say you are approaching someone for a sponsorship, and you went on a rant on Twitter 2 days ago, and it went viral.
I have stories about not doing sponsorships. Like we were close to signing the contract, and then I go to their Twitter and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, they do not want to be associated with somebody that is volatile because that comes back on them. Yeah, that's it. Like, don't cheat people, don't lie, don't steal, do golden rule. And you'll be fine in this community because everybody supports and loves, and as long as you're not one of those people, then you're gonna be all right.
Yeah, what I'll add here, just to hopefully end this on a bit of an optimistic note.
Yeah,
is,
please.
Sorry.
is just to also be like patient with each other, right? Like that doesn't necessarily mean you need to go, oh man, like this person really just effed me up, and like I'm still gonna work with them. Like you don't have to do that, but like people in this industry do so much, right? And it's not just being a professional workplace that's super, like imagine many of you were like told the next day, oh, you're gonna lose your job. Like that's super stressful. But this is also a creative industry. This is you putting yourselves out there. This is your talent. This is your art. This is your expression of whatever it is that you think is super cool. And for somebody else to not appreciate that, it can be really rough. And that's true for creators as well, for people who own businesses and whatever else, because everybody is putting their heart and soul into this. And people can have bad days. Something that's really important to note is statistically, just saying, people who attend conventions are also way more likely to be neurodivergent, right? So like maybe someone's just also just neurospicy and you don't get what that is because you don't have that lived experience. Sometimes it's not all about you, and that's okay, right? You're okay.
All right, we've got just a few minutes left, so I think we can wrap this up on a nice little positive spin. Just to close things out, what's a positive, memorable experience you've had in the TTRPG space, and what made it so special? Or if you're feeling spicy, you can share a bad experience, whether it was yours or someone else's.
We don't
and,
got
like, how
time
you
for that.
learned
We
from
do
it,
not.
But, you know,
We do
like,
not have
I'm
time for
trying
that.
for a positive angle, but like, you know.
Oh no, I can't think of anything. Everything has been like lovely. I think the TTRPG space, as messy as it can be, the positives are worth it. The friendships and the real connections I've made because of being in this space are there could be a solar flare tomorrow and the internet's wiped out and none of this means anything, but I still have the friends I made. And I can't pinpoint one exact thing because I'm just very grateful to have been able to be in this space and make the friends I have and know that that's going to last past whatever this is for me.
Yeah, Sachi, if the internet gets wiped out, I'll miss you.
But
We're on
like-
opposite coasts, my guy. Like.
Sorry. I'll give you my phone number.
Okay.
I think I've had so many amazing positive experiences. I've been very, very, very lucky to meet the people that I have. I think one of my favorite ones was my first con ever.
Oh.
Ever. I was with a friend of mine, and we sat down in the middle of the hall because we were very tired. And one of his friends came up with us, and they were another creator. And I had never met this creator before. I'd seen them online, and they were like very kind, and they always seemed cool. And it was that kind of, it was early on in my career, so so I was a little, oh, this is so cool. This person who has so many followers. Ooh. You shouldn't care about that, but at the time I did. And they were so kind to me. We sat down, we found out that we had similar experiences in childhood. Yay, religious trauma. And we had like a 40-minute conversation just chatting, and an actual human person-to-person connection. Nothing to do with networking, nothing to do with, hey, I'll scratch my back, you scratch your, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. It was just a lovely person. And at the core of it, that's what I think networking should be. Oftentimes when you go into networking, you ask yourself, oh, what can I get from this person? You should be asking what you can do for them. And if the connection you make is going to be a good one. You don't have to be best friends with everyone, but it is lovely when you do find friends. So,
I'll hop in really quickly and say that my favorite networking that I've done and continue to do at cons is inviting people to do escape rooms with me.
Oh my God.
Because that's such a fun, because you book it, you can have like whatever, up to 7, and then you invite like 3 people, and you're like, hey, invite your friends. And I've gotten some really good networking doing it that way because you're not focusing on networking. And also, these like networking mixer events,
They're loud.
so instead just
They're
being
loud.
like, hey, we're all
bad.
solving a game together, you're not really networking. It's amazing. I strongly recommend doing that. It's awesome.
Mine is karaoke.
I was about to say karaoke
Yeah.
because we became friends because of karaoke.
We did.
So
actually.
karaoke,
But
guys.
I'll go into the hotel like lobbies and I'll be like, guys, lock in. There's a drag karaoke around the corner. I found. Let's go.
Yeah.
The wonderful thing about this industry is it is so many people doing what they love. And I've found that if you approach every interaction thinking how you can make it easier for someone else to do what they love, then it makes this beautiful little circle. Because you're not thinking about yourself, you're thinking about them and how you can help them. And it turns out that just sort of helps you. My favorite interactions, though, at all cons about everything in this industry are parents and kids. And sometimes you get, but the good ones, there's 2. There's one where it's a mom or a dad, and they're like, I don't know what this thing is, but they love it, and I want to support them. And you're like, yes, please let me help you. And the other one is where it's a generational, and they're sharing the same hobby, and it's just so fun to watch them nerd out over those things. It's a beautiful thing, especially coming from, I've been a nerd since I was out of the womb, and I didn't get that parental support. They didn't care. Why are you spending your money on this?
Now you're corrupting them while they're young, right?
Exactly. You got to get them early. But con days are long. This is a rough business where you don't get paid a lot and you grind yourself to the bone, and those little interactions are the ones that spark that joy, and you're like, yes, this is why I do this.
Yeah, I thankfully get a lot of those since I work specifically in spaces like this for kids and all that. And I've had some experiences that are even completely accidental that I didn't realize. Like there was one time where I rolled in, was sitting at my booth, and the new head of exhibitor services was chatting with me. And while I was setting things up, putting out the little cards to one of my games, their 10-year-old girl runs up and grabs one of these cards and then runs up to the mom and goes, "Mom, I can read." And I'm like, what does this mean? And apparently, and then I get the whole personal story, that little girl's been dyslexic her entire life. Nobody's ever diagnosed it. Everyone just thought that she couldn't do anything. She wasn't trying hard enough. And for the first time by herself, she was able to read something, and she was so happy and so proud. And then the head of exhibitor services was just like, okay, I know you have to have a booth here, but also, can you run our entire accessibility room over there now? I'm like, I'm one person, please don't kill me. And this is exactly when, if you're walking around a con center, you can be like, hey, this person, I know about your stuff. I would love to help. I'm like, great, we're networking now. You can come with me, let's run this room together, and we're in for good forever. Yeah.
It's not really TTRPG networking related per se, but since we started boothing as the Storyteller Squad and vending, my favorite thing is people's reactions to Moth Girl. Because in our show, she's a trans social media icon. She's like a bit of a Robin Hood-esque character and like steals from the rich and gives to like good causes. She's incredible. And like, it's usually adults going, "Oh, sexy Mothman," or it's a child that comes by and looks up at her in wonder and goes, "Moth Girl?" And I just die, y'all. I'm such a sucker for like those little kids. I did party princessing once upon a time, like literally for like a summer, and then never again. But I had like one bad experience.
Real.
But like the wonder that kids get when they see something that somehow like makes them feel seen is just astounding to me, and is so magical. And sometimes it leads to really great conversation with really great people. So yeah. We have literally a minute left, so unfortunately we will not be able to take any additional questions today. But, sorry, do you have a thought? Yeah, if folks are free, we can take a couple questions outside after the panel. But I do want to thank you all for coming out and sitting in and listening to us talk about networking. We hope you learned something today. But yeah, we're gonna skedaddle our little behinds out of here, and a few of us will be around to answer any questions that you think we maybe didn't cover, anything like that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.